Hey parents, I'm back with your discipleship tip for the week. So here's your tip for the week is we need to as parents to stay consistent in the word and to stay consistent in how we disciple our students. So in the past I've talked about a discipleship plan. One of the things that I've done recently is I have basically developed a weekly plan that I'm sending out to you every week, and I'm trying to do it on Mondays and Tuesdays. It is a rush update plan. So I'm still sending emails. I'm still sending the weekly email that's a little bit shorter, but instead of packing it all in with all of the nuts and all the bolts of all the discipleship stuff of what is the text for the week and what are the things that we do, our action steps, I want to make that more applicational to you. And so what I've done is through the Remind app, and again, if you want to receive the most current news on what we're doing at Rush Student Ministry, you need to be on the Remind app. You need to text at Chapin Rush, that's the at symbol, Chapin Rush to 81010. And one of the things I'm doing is I'm trying to build a consistency with a discipleship plan to where you can have talking points with your students. And so it's very important for us to have a discipleship plan or even just a reading plan, reading our Bible. I've talked about the YouVersion app with students before. I've talked about it with you guys before about how having a scheduled time is very important. But there's also a difference between being scheduled and then also being consistent. Here's the reason why. I can be scheduled in how I feed Carson every day. As a parent, I know I've got to feed Carson so many times a day or she's going to be upset. But I also know I need to be consistent in how I discipline Carson as well. Because I know she can get a little attitude sometimes. I mean, she can get feisty. And one of the things that Kaylee and I do very well, or we try to do very well, is be consistent. Now, life's about to change. We're about to have a second child, and we may be saying something different a couple of months down the road. And a lot of you parents that have more experience will be like, Kyle, you're learning, and I am. I'm learning. We're all learning in this journey. But one of the things that we can do as parents is be consistent in how we do discipleship. So here's a practical way of looking at it. I've given students an Apostles' Creed study book, or they have purchased it. Sorry, they have purchased it. Or during the school year, I have given devotional guides every week that are basically 3 to 5 days. Our job as parents is to make sure our students are being consistent in the Word. But the other thing, too, parents, is we've got to be consistent in the Word. And so as you establish that plan, be consistent in how you do it. Pray about it and then actually accomplish and do it and be consistent with it. If you feel like that you can be consistent with a quiet time or a reading plan for 3 days out of the week, be all in those 3 days out of the week. Maybe you just need to start out with one day and you really need to think, okay, how can I be as consistent with this as possible? That is one good thing that you can do in helping yourself and then also helping your students. I do 3 days because 3 days are simple. I feel like that's simple enough with 7 days during the week for your student to engage. So 3 days of the week in the Word and then build off of that consistency. Also, make sure that you're staying consistent in what we are doing here at Rush. It is very, very, very important. Do not ignore emails. Do not ignore remind text apps. Please make sure you're investing in that. That's where I try to give the most update on discipleship materials. That's where I get the most update on how do you know what we're preaching on Sunday nights. And also what events we're doing as well as we're trying to obey social distancing guidelines and all those different things that go into play during this time. So anyways, that is my tip for you this week. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I hope to see many of your students at the tubing trip this coming Friday at 11:30 a.m. Make sure you are there if you want to be there, and make sure you email me if you want to be there. And bring a waiver, bring $25 in cash, and I will see you on Friday, if not sooner.